I'm Cloudy, and today I'm going to do a eyeshadow palette tag. This is the first one of this kind of videos that I try to make, so I hope it goes well. Years ago, I believe Samantha March and Ali Glines, they created a eyeshadow palette tag, and this year they already revamped it, try to do another one. And I have seen a lot of people on YouTube, they also created their own tags. And I think it's so interesting. It's just great. They talk about their eyeshadow palette collection and they kind of go through all of the prompts. So I think for myself, I don't have a big eyeshadow palette collection, so that I cannot cover all of the prompts, to be honest. So I'm gonna combine two tags into one and show you just 8 items, like 8 prompts that I think would fit well with my collection, to kind of show you guys the variety of eyeshadow palettes that I owned. And yeah, okay, just talk about eyeshadow palettes. The first one, a palette from your favorite brand. This is gonna be controversial. This is a warning in advance. I don't have a tendency to love a brand. I want to try every single brand out there because right now I'm still building my makeup collection to curate one, and I wanted to have variety, like multiple finishes, multiple aesthetics, and that is the things that brands would give you differently. There are overlappings, but in general each brand will have their own accent. So I don't want to follow just one brand and become loyal to that. I'm not there yet, so I don't try multiple products from one brand. There's only one brand that I did collect quite a few pieces, and I love them all, so I consider it to be my favorite brand. And here's the controversial part, it's Too Faced. I don't know, I love their peach powder, their lipstick, and then the bronzer, the chocolate Soleil bronzer. I love them all. And here's the palette, the chocolate bar palette. And this is the chocolate bar palette. And this is the chocolate bar palette. This is the only palette from Too Faced that I owned. So just to give you guys a little bit of insight, I'm not a huge fan of this palette. The color story is not mine, so I don't vibe with it a lot. But in general, the quality is good. It's nice and very usable. What else can I say? And the most troubling thing is that it's interesting to think about makeup back in the day when this is like people's favorite. It's not mine, but yeah, maybe it found its time back then, and it's a good thing. Everybody has a time. Objects, technology, everything has its own time. The next category, the most used palette. And this is my Makeup Revolution Flawless 4. It has 32 shades, tiny little pans in this palette, and you have everything in it. I think this is the most basic but versatile palette in my collection. Like, I want to go for the pinks. I have pink, the purple is there, and then the neutral. You have warm tone neutral and cool tone neutral. But once again, this is not like my top tier favorite, but I love it enough to use it very, very regularly. Especially the three matte shade here, the grayish one, the black one, and the brown one. I use them as my eyebrow. Like, yeah. I mean, I could go for this palette 7 times in a week just because I have my brown shade in here and it works. So here it is. The next one, a palette that I keep for the memories, but also I think I can also go for the palette that is the oldest in my collection, and this is the Quad, All About Shadow Quad from Clinique, and the shade is 3 Morning Java. It has like 4 little tiny eyeshadow like this. It's very neutral. It's really nostalgic to me to think back to the time that I didn't own any eyeshadow or eyeshadow palette in my collection, because I was just like right going to makeup, and I still use my blush as my eyeshadow, and you know, blush, you have like pink and orange, and like, yeah, it's not enough to create like a good looking eyeshadow palette, you know. So I went back and forth so much whether I would try to try an eyeshadow palette or not, and it turns out I love doing my eye makeup so much, and it's all thanks to this one. And you know, like, oh my god, for the longest time this gold one is like the only shade that I wear. I just put it over my lid. And at one point I think gold is my favorite color when it comes to makeup, but now it's purple. The second one is pink, but now it's purple. But it's just so silly. It was so silly to me to think like that, but it fits well, because right at the time that's something to brings me a little bit of excitement to do makeup, you know. Yeah, and seeing myself growing so much, and I have gone so far from that point, like 3-4 years ago, I was amazed, and I think I was proud of that girl who bought this palette. Okay, let's move to the palette that sparked me joy right now, and that is my Storybook Cosmetics Fairy Tales palette, right? Or Little Briar Roast. I'm sorry, my English is really poor right now. Oh my god, what? No, let's get back to the palette. This is so beautiful. This is the most beautiful makeup item that I owned. Period. Like, I don't know. I don't know about you. I don't think people give this brand enough hype and attention as it should be, because I don't know, the artwork, and oh my god, like, people really have to like spend months, even years, to come up with the idea like this, and I truly adore it. It looks just like a book. I can put it in a bookshelf and trick everyone. And like, when I don't want to use this palette anymore because it gets too old, that day will come very soon. I can just put it on display like an ornament or something. And the color story is, oh my god, it's so beautiful. Like, it's neutral enough, but like it's colorful enough so that it brings you a lot of inspiration to create some of the craziest look in the world. But by that I mean beautifully crazy. There's always something like that. Oh my god, the silver. I don't own any silver in my collection that is this metallic, this sparkly, and like the matte is beautiful, and the shimmer, oh my god, these, I'm speechless, so beautiful. And the packaging, I mean, actually I want to buy the Starry Night palette from this brand, but it's a little bit expensive, so it makes me think a lot, but it's beautiful, it's joy. The next one is, I think this category is really interesting, and I mean, it's just a goofy part of me that I have to giggle every time I think about this palette. That is a palette that you cannot get rid of, even though it's not your favorite. And this is my large, what's it called? BH Cosmetics Blush Neutrals 26 color eyeshadow and blush palette. And this is what it looks like. The color story is very ugly. I don't like the quality of the eyeshadow in this palette. It has some nice matte and satin. I don't love satin. It has to be either matte or ultra metallic, sparkly. It doesn't have to have a lot of pigment in it, but like beautiful. Or like the Super Shock formula from ColourPop. It has zero color base, but the sheen, the sparkliness, it has to be like that. It's not like something really mediocre in between like this. But I cannot get rid of it. You know why? Because it has a purple blush in it. I don't even wear purple blush, even though I love purple. But I just want to put purple on my eye. But I have to keep it just because of this purple blush. Sometimes it's because of this ugly hot pink right here. Because, you know, the Dior blush, the thing that went viral a year or a few months ago. And I think I am delusional to think that I can mimic that kind of look with this pink shade. And it's nice, it's pretty. I tried it. Yeah, it's better than thought. But for this eyeshadow and the purple blush, to keep the entire boring and a little bit off the chart color story like this, I think it's a little bit silly to me. The new favorite palette, and I can also tell this is something that I did not expect to love. That is me in the relationship with this Nomad Cosmetics Berlin Underground palette. I don't know. You know, I was in a kick. I bought this palette solely for this shade here called SO36. It's like a duochrome. It shifts from yellow to grungy green. I think this is a very common combination when it comes to duochrome. But I didn't own any at that time. So I think I would give this a go, and oh my god. I think I'm into green right now because of this palette. And the rest is so right up my alley. You have some sort of neutrals and grayish, like metal gun. What do they call it? Metal gun silver? Gunmetal silver? I don't know, like a little bit of a grayish, darkish, but almost blue. Grayish, the shade right here. I am describing the shade. I understand. It's just an unexpected love in my life. I only asked for the duochrome green shade, but then it turns out I love every single piece of it. And I thought it worth it. It worth every penny. It's my new favorite. I wouldn't say that this dethroned the next palette I'm gonna mention, but it comes very close. It's like almost there. But then after all the consideration, I picked the next palette for my all-time favorite palette. I cannot stress enough how much I love this palette because this one is the Ether Beauty Amethyst Crystal Gemstone palette. Like, guys, it's perfection. It deserves a place in heaven, to be honest. I believe the packaging, it has no mirror in it, and it makes a recycled paper or recyclable paper. But if this is eco-friendly as it's advertised, it's a plus point as long as you are who you are, okay? But the color story inside is, come on. Come on, this is me in eyeshadow palette, period. I love every single shade in here. I never love cool tone, like dark blue purple shade like this, but I can literally use every single shade in this palette. I use this a lot, a ton, and I love every single look. I don't know, and something about the dual chrome, the 4 shades in the middle, it's so unique. I don't know, it's not like dual chrome to the point that it's over the top. It's subtle enough to create wearable, feasible to go outside, to go to buy grocery, you know, that kind of look. I adore this palette so much, and oh my god, it's like life is so magical to give you a chance to purchase something like this, and this is so worth it at the end. Well, I've just shown you 8 eyeshadow palettes that fit in 8 prompts in the eyeshadow palette tag. Yeah, like I said, it's kind of like in a random places, and yeah, I have to create a list for my own because I don't have enough palettes to fit in all of those 2 tags. So I think I did what I could, and yeah, I think I showed you guys quite a bit of a diversity in my makeup palette collection, and I'm cloudy. Once again, I'm cloudy, and hopefully we see each other again. Bye!